This really went from an idea to a conversation to, Nalani and I deciding we're going to do something about it. You can look at these abandoned homes as eyesores, or you can see them as an opportunity. And I thought, especially the historic ones, what are some creative options for how to utilize these instead of tearing them down, instead of boarding up the windows?
I mean, it's something I always wanted to do. I would go and scope out all these abandoned spaces whenever I got the chance and kind of imagined things, but it never really seemed like a reality.
The location of it is really perfect, just outside of what is kind of downtown proper, just outside of a historic district. It's an historic home built in 1898 by the Birdsell family.
I mean, it just kept going, especially when you first get in here and you don't know the space, it just feels like it's endless. And that's when it really started growing, like, wow, we can put so many people in here.
We really wanted site-specific art. So playing off the decay here, playing off maybe some of the history, playing off the architecture, responding to the space was really important for us.
There's so many interesting details, like all the places where the walls are crumbling and all the different textures. Right away, there seemed to be so much potential.
After we had a location, we drafted a call for artists. We got over 40 applications, and so let's do the whole place. Fill basically every room in the mansion with art.
The name of my piece is Technician, and it's existed in various iterations over the decades. And the current one at the Birdsell is the biggest and best yet. Some of it is military, NASA, Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, Army, Navy, Princeton, Dartmouth. So there's a lot of interesting stuff there. This city, South Bend, needs not just something like the Birdsell, but other Birdsells, other projects like this that engage with local artists in the community.
I used to be a painter, and I would paint objects. And then one day I realized that I'm really more interested in the objects than painting, so I might as well work with them. The name of my piece is The Office. It's a mixture of nostalgia and just some fantasy of magical time or something that never really existed. It's all in my head. It's nice to see other people having that same reaction, the nostalgic reaction to the work, and having it evoke emotions and bring up things from their past and stuff.
I've been working with furniture a lot. It has like a history sort of, it was built for people, but now the people are gone and have left these pieces, and it sort of carries like a figure, but it's not there. The piece is kind of originally inspired by like the bristlecone pine trees, because they're these really old trees that are like carved away by the wind to the point where they're like disappearing in the middle. So I kind of wanted to imitate that with chairs, so scrape away until you have this piece that's like disappeared in the middle.
We've hosted private parties, we've done an album release, poetry, holiday parties. These are all ways to get people familiar with a new venue, to get people kind of acclimated to the environment here. All of those were kind of thrown in hopes that builds interest around the visual art that's going to be displayed, because that's really our main focus.
The Birdsell Project is also a testament to the gumption and the savoir-faire of Miles Robertson and Nalani Stoltz. Without their inspired vision, there would be no Birdsell, and South Bend would be worse off for it.
As we work in a particular space, ideally we would have someone then rehab it and sort of bring it back to what it could be. That's really what we want. We want those spaces that are really falling apart that other people don't want, but then hopefully that'll lead to something more for that space.
sometimes, especially when the weather was a little bit better, I'd just come outside here and just think about the history of this building and you know, the people who lived here, you know, back when it was built, and try to look out at the city out here and see, try to picture what it was like back then, like if I was walking out of the house right now.
You get to talking with the neighbors, people who lived here their entire lives, or people who have been here, you know, a decent chunk of their lives and seen this house and seen it slowly decay. People say, you know, I always had great ideas to do something with the space. It's cool that you're actually doing it. You know, I really see this as, you know, we want to breathe new life into buildings that were maybe forgotten. This is one of them, but who's to say there couldn't be others we work in.